What's up, guys? The warm down for Man United versus Brentford. Obviously, a 2-0 win, which we're all happy about. And I want to do a bit of a deeper dive into how that performance went and kind of what my review was on it after a bit of time of reflection. Now, if anyone did see my match reaction yesterday, I was quite excited. I was quite happy. And I don't watch any social media during the match because I don't want it to colour my reaction and how I feel about games. I want to give my instant reaction, and then over time I'll look at things and then take other things into consideration, what other people are saying, when I sort of formulate more of an opinion. And my first reaction was definitely one that was more excited than most people, and many people are making the point that Man United beating Brentford 2-1 at home is not something to be excited about. And I'm not excited because it's Brentford. I'm excited because I saw a level of intensity that gives me hope for the future. I also don't want to do every single game in the long term, big picture, because I want to enjoy games in the moment. I think as a football fan, the most valuable thing is to just look at that 90 minutes and take as much enjoyment from it as you can. And that's what I will always intend to do, whether I'm doing videos or just watching football anyway. So by no means do I think we've turned a corner or that Erik ten Hag is the greatest manager who is now untouchable and all this other stuff that some people kind of campaign against when you speak positively about this game. But what I really feel is that that was a good performance that we deserve to win, and that should be celebrated. So that's my first sort of reaction on review on that. Now, in terms of the game in general, it didn't start very well in the opening 15 at all, to be honest. They had 68% of the ball, which, let's face it, they're not good enough really to be doing that to us. And I think a problem there is that confidence is an issue. And really that fear, I think, of them scoring an early goal again. In fact, they actually almost did it if Kevin Schneider had connected with the cross and put it away. So it's not really the greatest starting games, but I will praise it in terms of the fact that we didn't manage it very well. That cross was the only sort of notable thing they did. And after those first 15 minutes, we really came into it and started taking control of the ball much more. They had one shot on target from outside the box, which looks very nice on camera, but I'd have been very disappointed if Onana had let that one in. And from there, we really wrestled control of the game. We created opportunities, we worked the goalkeeper, and really managed the game really well. Now, in the background to all this was Matthijs de Ligt's head injury. Now, he sustained this, I think, around 11 minutes in, and it was obviously bleeding quite a lot, as head cuts tend to do. And he went off in the end 3 times to have the same cut patched up. I cannot understand how he is going back out on that pitch and it is not set so that that is not going to bleed and interfere with his game any more than it already is. I don't think it's the officials' fault, because in the end, the way it looked, whether it was dry blood or not, it doesn't look good, and it doesn't look like someone you can let play on the pitch. It needs tidying up, and ultimately that cost us the first goal. I think that space that Ethan Pinnock attacked was definitely the space that Matthijs de Ligt would be occupying. The key thing with it all is that you've got to organise and figure things out. If you watch it back, on the switch, Ethan Pinnock is being marked by Diogo Dalot. Rasmus Højlund has got his man around there as well. And they sort of cross over. And the smart thing to do there would be that Dalot and Højlund would switch markers. Højlund chases round, gets back to his man. In the process, cuts off Dalot, and then he can't get back round. There's a free header there. Garnacho and Rashford was very interesting to me in this game. I feel like with Garnacho and Rashford, my first impression seeing them is that we've got no one really to hold the ball. They both want to do the same thing, and it always causes issues because they take so many risks. They dart forward and they end up exposing us going the other way. But they actually switched. Garnacho went on the left, Rashford went on the right, and the dynamic was not what I was expecting it to be. And I was pleasantly surprised. If this is a tactical tweak, I think the manager deserves credit for that, because Rashford was playing much more sort of settled. He was tucking in to that sort of inside right channel, and he was holding the ball and he wasn't really chasing him behind. We left all that for Garnacho, who was just running and running and running relentlessly all game. He had a really good game. He had a lot of shots, which I wish more of those could be crosses for teammates. But overall, I mean, the impact he was having, the intensity he was playing at, and that outlet he was giving us kept working throughout the whole game. Rashton, on the other hand, was actually much more possession focused. He kept the ball much better, and he picked and chose when he was going to run. He wasn't really running in behind as much, but he was more so maybe carrying the ball from sort of the edge of their final third, which is really where you want him to pick the ball up. Not out wide on the touchline, but closer to their goal so he can have an impact. A good dynamic there. I think we like when Ahmad plays there because he gives us that control, but not the end product. And Rashford, if he can play like that, actually could give us more end product, while also giving us that stability where the game doesn't become end to end and causes issues. Just to throw in there, Højlund, very good, much better hold up play, worked the defender and the centre backs much better, and overall I think attacking wise that was very positive. Now my big thing, and this was something I mentioned a few weeks ago, I think against Twente, is that intensity is so important. I think you can have the best tactical ideas that you like and sort of figure out what plan you want to have, but at the end of the day, if you're not going to actually play with intensity, you can't execute anything that you set out at all. Now, even when we weren't doing so well in the opening 15, the defending was intense. What we were trying to do off the ball was intense, and that intensity helped us wrestle control of that half as it went on. We didn't deserve to go in at the break 1-0 down, and right after the break I think we really rectified that. We came out of the second half so fast and really just overpowered Brentford, and that is the big takeaway for me from this game. We were much too powerful, much too aggressive. I looked at their midfield three, very athletic and mobile, and compared that to our midfield three, which was Eriksen, Casemiro and Bruno, and we've seen where that's fallen down in the past, and I thought this is going to cause us all sorts of problems all game because they are not mobile enough and they don't cover the ground well. But actually, when we don't turn the game end to end, there is a chance for them to get back in, and I was really happy to see at times Casemiro and Eriksen making sure that those 5-10 yard sprints are being done so that players can't carry the ball, so passes can't be released as quickly, so their attacks do get slowed down. And that is really, really important because they give a lot of quality in other aspects, but we always feel like, well, they don't balance it out the defensive side. Against opponents that we're stronger than, like Brentford, I think we should be aiming to do things like this, maybe playing more of an attacking, ball playing midfield like we did, and just saying to him, look, I need those sprints from you. Even Casemiro can do things on the ball. Now, Manuel Ugarte is a player who brings a lot of intensity and someone you can trust with that sort of thing, but the issue with Ugarte is on the ball, and he doesn't have the quality that Eriksen or even Casemiro possesses from what I'm seeing so far. He's very workmanlike. He can play, passes into players who have that ability, but ultimately it's going to cost us a bit on the ball. And I think that is the one big question mark about his signing, is where does he really fit in if you want to play a three-man midfield? Now, this is the key thing, is intensity can sometimes override better defensive qualities, because if you just do enough to close down, to break things up, to distract, to put players off their game in midfield, you can win that battle by being good on the ball and forcing them back, and you don't need to be a defensive monster to do that. And overall, I think all across the pitch, Matthijs de Ligt came out like a man possessed in the second half, intent on making sure that we didn't concede again. Martinez is always like that. I think Dalot always brings that. Also in the front line, I think defensively Marcus Rashford much more diligent in getting back in there and making sure he's helping his fullbacks, closing spaces so that passes can't go as quickly. Passes have to go wide. Players have to take an extra touch, and just protecting us from dangerous attacks. You're going to be put under pressure. The other team's going to have a go at getting towards your goal every game, but the quality of attack that you allow them can be vastly changed by you covering up some spaces in their build-up and making it more difficult. Lastly, a special mention to the best centre-back at the club at the moment, Johnny Evans. Just absolutely brilliant. You don't need to be, again, a sort of world-class, wonderful ball-playing centre-back week in, week out. You need to defend well and just be decent at that. And sometimes that will override it. Martinez is so much better at carrying and passing the ball than Evans. But putting Evans in there gave us so much solidity. We had Brian and Bumo on their side, who before this game had more goals than us in the league, and he didn't get a shout. Wissa came on, also not really a shout. And I think that's a testament to having Johnny Evans in there and reminding everyone, most important thing is to protect your goal. Intensity over all this tactical stuff, or before all this tactical stuff, I should say, because you have no basis to execute your tactics if you're not going to press and close down the game as best you can. A good start. We're not out of the woods yet. Erik ten Hag is not a safe man, as happy as I am. We move on to Fenerbahce on Thursday. Hopefully we keep the run going. I'll see you guys for that one.